Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome here to the launch pad and our good morning, everyone, and welcome here to the launch pad and our live launch coverage of SpaceX Starlink 6-48 launching from Slick 40 at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station in Florida. If it's your first time here, welcome. My name's Zach. I'm the founder and host here at the launch pad, and here at TLP, it's our mission to inform and inspire the explorers of tomorrow because we believe that space is better together. And at T minus 4 minutes, 30 seconds and counting, you are looking at a live view from Slick 40 at Cape Canaveral as SpaceX is well into propellant load of Falcon 9 in preparation for today's flight. As always, as we get started, take a moment, let us know where you're watching from in the chat. I see that we have Renee in Brazil, we got Mav in San Diego, Susan's in Portland, Oregon, Jenny is in Budapest, bonjour to Choppy, sorry if I'm saying that wrong. We got Craig in the upper Mississippi River Valley of Wisconsin, great to see you. We've got let's see, lots of people jumping in. Greg is in Sydney, Australia. Danielle is in New Zealand. We got Windbreaker in Arkansas. Richie's in the deep south. Great to have you all joining us here today. SpaceX has been working to get this flight off the ground, originally targeting liftoff about 2 hours ago. Had a couple slips in the countdown, but they do this now where they have 5 to 12 backup window opportunities on the same launch day. So they backed it up a couple of times, and here we are now with SpaceX officially targeting liftoff at 1:40 a.m. Eastern Time. They had backups all the way till 3:30, but now that we are into propellant load, we are locked in to the count, 3 minutes, 15 seconds, and counting. Today's Falcon 9 booster is booster 1083, going for its second flight, having only supported Crew 8 as a previous mission. SpaceX's autonomous drone ship just read the instructions is stationed downrange in the Atlantic Ocean to recover today's flight, and on board are 23 more Starlink V2 minis heading up to low Earth orbit. If for any reason the Falcon 9 decides to halt today's countdown and scrub, they do have a backup opportunity tomorrow beginning at 12:18 a.m. Eastern Time. A huge shout out to our TLP rocket chasers, Gavin, and I believe a couple of the others have braved the early morning hours and are out in the field, so make sure you stay tuned to social media to see some of their amazing captures, and stay tuned to the Launchpad store, as today we will be dropping a whole bunch of new pictures from Delta 4 Heavy and the Eclipse. You definitely want to get your hands on some of these incredible shots of two really historic events. Posters, metal prints, and acrylics now available. At T minus 2 minutes, 15 seconds and counting, weather is more than 90% go for flight. The range is clear, the rocket is go, the vehicles go, and the payload is go. Everything pointing to an on-time liftoff just over 2 minutes from now. As we prepare to listen into SpaceX Mission Control, as always, if you have questions, you can send those in the chat by tagging us at the launch pad, and I'll work on answering those live during the coast phase ahead of booster landing. SpaceX no longer provides live coverage of deployment, so we will be wrapping up our coverage following first stage landing and second stage shutdown. Falcon 9 will deploy from the second stage these 23 Starlink V2 minis 1 hour, 5 minutes, 25 seconds into flight, and SpaceX will confirm that via social media. T minus 90 seconds and counting, now pulling up the mission control nets. As you can hear, they're purging the pad in preparation for today's flight. The next milestone, it will be at T minus 60 seconds when Falcon 9 takes over the count. As always, here at the launch pad, let's see that go, no go in the chat. If you're not a TLP member yet, to consider hitting that join button so you can be a member and you can use our custom TLP launch emotes, which of course you can always just type go or no go as well. Take a moment, engage that like button, share out the stream as well. T minus 60 seconds.
Falcon 9 is start.
Falcon 9 has now taken over the countdown and is in control of the remaining 60 seconds of the clock. T minus 50 seconds and counting.
Go for launch.
And there is that go from the launch director. That's the final manual go, no go that we wait to hear. T minus 32 seconds and counting. If you're just joining us,
30 seconds.
SpaceX is preparing to launch SpaceX Starlink 6-48 from Slick 40 at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station on a booster going for its second flight. T minus 20 seconds. Standing by for Falcon 9 to command those 9 Merlin 1D engines to ignite. Let's listen in to the final seconds of the count.
T minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, Engines full power, and liftoff. Go Falcon, go Starlink.
Vehicle's pitching downrange.
Nominal M1 D pressures.
T plus 20 seconds into flight, Falcon 9 has cleared the tower, beginning its journey on its second ever flight to low Earth orbit. Falcon 9 already traveling over 450 kilometers an hour, coming up to 2 kilometers in altitude. T plus 34 seconds into flight, the next major milestone will be max Q, or the moment of peak mechanical stress on the vehicle.
Nominal power and telemetry.
Great call out there that Falcon 9 is continuing on a nominal trajectory. Let's listen in to the Falcon 9 rumble and await max Q.
Vehicle is supersonic. Max Q.
T plus 90 seconds into flight, Falcon 9's first stage continuing to burn
Back to
nominally.
startup.
We are preparing for that next sequence of events to kick off. 2 minutes 31 seconds into flight, beginning with MECO, or first stage main engine cutoff, immediately followed by first and second stage separation, MVAC ignition, also known as SES-1, grid fin deploy, and then 20 seconds later, fairing deployment. That sequence again begins 2 minutes 31 seconds into flight, so we'll listen for that call out. As always, if you have questions, keep sending them in the chat by tagging us at the launch pad. We'll work on answering those in just a couple of minutes during the coast phase.
MECO. Stage separation confirmed. MVAC ignition. Fairing separation confirmed.
And if you're just joining us, you are looking at live views from the first and second stages of Falcon 9 for SpaceX Starlink 6-48 that 3.5 minutes ago launched from Slick 40 at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station in Florida. The first stage is now continuing to float up to its apogee, so keep a close eye on the speed and altitude in the bottom left corner of your screen. We see this altitude normally peak out about 116, 117 kilometers for its apogee, and then it begins its ascent back down to Earth, because that's what apogee means. It's the highest point of its flight. It is not currently under any power, it is just coasting under its current speed. The second stage is under power and is continuing to pick up speed and altitude as it journeys towards its deployment orbit. The second stage will shut down and have a secondary burn later in its flight. That second burn set to begin 54 minutes 16 seconds into flight, lasting just 2 seconds, which will be followed by payload deployment 1 hour 5 minutes 25 seconds into flight. Again, SpaceX no longer provides commentary or live views of deployment, so stay tuned to X for confirmation of payload deployment. It looks like the altitude has begun to descend and speed increase. We have had apogee confirmed of the first stage. Falcon 9 booster 1083 has completed its second ascent mission and is now beginning its first recovery, or its second, recovery mission, heading down to the drone ship station in the Atlantic Ocean. Today's drone ship is just read the instructions. Justin Meade, Zach, do you think ULA should have kept the Delta IV Heavy operational until Vulcan was fully proven. Hindsight, it's always better to have a vehicle that you can use now. Vulcan has been many years delayed, and these contracts that are assigned to vehicles are awarded anywhere from 2 years to 10 years before an actual mission. So they had to make these decisions on when to retire Delta years and years and years ago. So, yeah, we of course wish we would have more Delta 4 heavies, at least as a community. They're amazing vehicles. I've had the true privilege of standing just a couple miles away from one last summer when it flew, and they are truly one of the most powerful launches I've seen. They're incredible, and we're sad to see it go, but when things get retired, it hopefully means that good things are coming, and that means Vulcan, and we're excited to see Vulcan fly hopefully a couple of more times this year, but definitely can see where that was coming from. If you guys have questions, you can keep sending those in the chat by tagging us at the launch pad. The first stage now preparing to conduct its entry burn. This burn expected to last about 25 seconds today in preparation as it enters the Earth's atmosphere. Waiting for that call out from Mission Control.
Stage 1 FTS is saved.
Stage 1 entry burn startup.
And you can see that entry burn has begun on the first stage as it bleeds off some of its speed as it enters into the Earth's atmosphere, helping protect it from that atmospheric re-entry heating. Igniting just a few of its engines allows to
Stage 1
protect
entry burn
itself from
shut down.
this. And we have entry burn shut down.
Stage 2 FTS is saved.
And I always point this out, an amazing thing to watch. The first stage is now only 35 kilometers above the ocean where the drone ship is, but it's still traveling over 5,500 kilometers an hour. It is not under any sort of power at this time for the next about minute and a half in preparation for its landing burn. So just using its body, the grid fins, and the thickness of the Earth's atmosphere getting denser and denser as it approaches the drone ship. Look at it bleed off that speed as it prepares to land. If you haven't yet, take a moment and engage that subscribe button so you never miss another live launch coverage, docking, undocking, or return to Earth. We are counting down to the second attempt for the fourth ever flight of Angara 5 and the first Angara A5 launch from the Vostochny Cosmodrome in Russia with Russia's new heavy lift vehicle. We hope you'll join
Stage
us
1
back here
transonic.
live for that in about 2 hours' time. Standing by for the landing burn of the first stage.
Stage 1 landing burn.
Stage 2 is in terminal guidance.
Landing leg deploy. Stage 1 landing confirmed.
And there you can see on your screen, Falcon 9 Booster 1083 has completed its second flight, having successfully landed on the drone ship. And watching the speed in the bottom right corner of your screen, we have confirmation of SECO 1. Second stage is now in orbit, heading to its deployment orbit. It does have one more burn to conduct about 50 minutes from now. SpaceX will confirm deployment via X, but that is going to do it. Unfortunately, SpaceX no longer provides coverage of deployment, so stay tuned to X for confirmation of that. That's going to do it for our live launch coverage of SpaceX 6-48 that successfully launched from Slick 40 at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station in Florida, the 69th orbital launch of any vehicle of any company globally this year. We are going to be going live in about 2 hours, about 15 minutes from now, to count down that final hour of the count for the Angara A5 launch from the Vostochny Cosmodrome. We hope to see you back here for that, or next time, because here at the launch pad, it's our mission to inform and inspire the explorers of tomorrow. And from our TLP remote studio currently in the UK, my name's Zach, and we'll see you next time, because space is better together.